Welcome to another episode of the Double D's podcast. We are your hosts, Damian Deshawn and D of D's Corner. What's going on, brother man?
Ain't nothing much, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. It been a very busy week, graduation, kids getting out of school. So and having to travel, hotel, all of that extra stuff, man. So just trying to get back. Took 2 days to just get back in the flow of
Yeah,
things, and we here now, and we about to tap in with some of this NFL news. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all check out D's podcast, D's Corner. And I do have some things in the works. It's still in the works. Just bear with us. But man, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off with Lamar Jackson, man. He slimmed down. He looks to be in the shape that he was in his Heisman season, going into his early start in the NFL, man. Um, my opinion is I think he's really tapping in. I mean, it's not like he ain't been. He's been MVP twice. He's really tapping into this season because this season really, as we've discussed before, but I'm kind of going back to this and visiting because it looks like he's trying to take another step because this is a defining season for him. Um, is anything you've seen or just heard about the moves? Because when we get into our rosters, it kind of flows right into this situation with Lamar.
yeah. I think he's good. I think so. I think last year he kind of knew from his time before. His
Hmm.
what 2 seasons before that. I ain't gonna have a sledgehammer in the backfield like a bell cow type back, and I have to be a part of the running game. So I feel like he needed to bulk up for that. But now you got 240, 250, 260 pound back there that can take it
Yep.
and take 30 handoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with the read option that they'll run, if you squeeze, Lamar needs to be thinner and more elusive because he's going to have a lot more outside runs, opportunity. And see, people are thinking like about him getting hurt. I don't see him doing a lot of up the middle type stuff like court
Hmm.
power or anything like that, unless it's like goal line. Everything I see, I think he's going to be outside, able to get out of bounds, outside, able to get out of bounds. And I think they've continued to try to build up his receiving core.
Hmm.
This is probably like the most complete skill set of what like skill players that he's had since he's been in the league.
Yeah. This is the
So
best roster on both sides of the ball, even though he may have lost a couple of defensive players. This is his best skill set, wide receiver wise, best backfield. His offensive line's intact. He has his defense is young. So it's not it's type he has a type of a roster now that's younger. So now he's not just a young guy with some vets here. They tried the vet thing with Odell Beckham to give them a veteran receiver. Now they just said we're just going to do a youth movement on both sides of the ball, and I think they're really gearing up. Um,
yeah,
I don't really have nothing else to flow with that. But I saw something on NFL Network and they were talking about on NFL.com and they were talking about the most complete rosters. So I figured that we kind of touch on some things with that. With what are the most complete rosters in the NFL? I'll let you start it off on your opinion. The top five NFL rosters, because I saw what they had, but what is your opinion?
the top
Oh,
five rosters.
yeah, or they did a top 10, so I
I'm gonna
keep it
do.
simple.
All right, so you want to do
We'll do
10 or
five.
five?
Five.
Five. All
We'll
right.
do five.
So Detroit. Not this ain't in no particular order.
Order. Mm-hmm.
Um, Detroit, San Francisco, Houston, Philly,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City.
Okay.
No
No
particular
particular order.
roster. No particular
And
order.
I would go Kansas City, Detroit. I would also go Baltimore. I would add San Francisco. It's the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, it's pretty much the same. But a sleeper roster, I would throw in a sleeper roster. The Jets.
Yeah,
I would throw a sleeper
absolutely.
sleeper roster for a ride. I mean, if we doing top five, but if we doing top
Yeah,
10, And that was no
No,
particular
we can
order.
do 10. This our
All
show. We
right,
can do what we want to
yeah,
do. We
we
ain't
can
got to
do
keep it.
10.
We ain't got to
All
keep it.
right,
We ain't
all
got to
right.
keep
So
it simple. We can do what we do.
all right, so go ahead. Your next five. No particular
So
order. We're just throwing a five out there.
Baltimore, the
Hmm.
Jets, um, Pittsburgh,
Uh-huh.
Dallas, and one of my sleepers is I'm gonna say Green Bay. I'm gonna say Green
That's
Bay.
that's a good one. Now I'm gonna do this since you mentioned that, since we pretty much touched on some of the lists on this. I'm gonna give you their complete list. The number one
Okay.
roster they had on the website was San Francisco. Number one roster. They give reasons why. Baltimore two. They gave Kansas City three. It's Detroit four. Number five, Philadelphia. Six. This one is a surprise. It caught me off guard. Cincinnati is the sixth best roster in the league. Houston is seven. At eight, Green Bay. At nine, Cleveland. And at 10, the
Oh,
Jets.
Cleveland,
Cleveland, yeah.
Cleveland,
Cleveland's their
Cleveland.
roster alone was the reason why they made. I mean, you can give credit to the quarterback plays stepping up when it needed to get them to the playoffs, but that roster as a whole carried them into the playoffs. I
Oh yeah.
mean, on the defensive side of the ball alone, that roster
I'm
is
gonna drop
really
Pittsburgh.
good. Yeah,
I'm gonna drop Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
yeah.
Actually, hold on,
Cleveland's
hold on,
roster.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. My Cleveland in my top five.
Yeah, when you look
Cleveland in
at
my
it from
top five.
top to
Like,
bottom,
yeah,
their
but see,
roster's
that's why
good.
that's why I wouldn't put and who was on the list that you said? Cincinnati. And their roster
Yeah,
is not better than Houston's.
it's
Their
not better
roster
than
is not better
Houston's.
than Houston, bro.
You know what? I think they're getting that edge because the quarterback level. Sometimes if you have that upper echelon's quarterback, you're gonna get that benefit of the doubt. It kind of gives you a boost at your roster. But I think Cleveland's roster, I mean, you add in Jerry Judy, if they can squeeze anything out of that lemon, you add that with Coop and Njoku. And then if Watson can he doesn't have to be that elite upper echelon quarterback.
He
Just be
don't.
the athletic guy that keeps the drive going, keeps the drive
Mm-hmm.
alive, keep the pocket moving the pocket, still uses athleticism and stay
Manage
healthy.
the games. Manage
Yeah,
the
and
games.
stay healthy and stay
That's it.
healthy. That's it. But then you add watch out. I'm saying watch out for options like Cedric Tillman and Elijah Moore. Also, I mean
Mm-hmm.
they got it's a nice roster, man. And we're not even talking about players like Chubb, and then you count all the defensive pieces that they have.
They
Man,
got a ton of them out there.
yeah, I really like Cleveland. It's really what makes. Once again, we go back to that division. That's gonna be the division to watch. I don't really watch. I watch Dallas, of course, because I'm a fan. I do watch a lot of the other games, but I don't watch a specific division just to watch it. But this year, I think
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to hone in on that division because I think it's going to be so competitive. So competitive.
I'm live to record games. I'm trying to pull up the roster. I mean, not the roster. I'm
Hmm.
trying to pull up the schedules because I think we might have talked about having Pittsburgh as a potential playoff team. Mm-mm. And I know
But you
I don't
look,
think we really I don't think
no,
we
we
really
ain't
talked
touch
about the
on it.
schedule. We ain't touched on the
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
Bro, bro. Kansas City plays on every single day of the week except Tuesday.
Really? I didn't
Every
see it
single day of
yet.
the week. Yeah.
So I tell you what,
I
we'll
haven't had
break
a
that
chance to really
down.
look at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we'll
haven't really
break
had a
it
chance to
down.
look at it
We'll come
myself
back and
either.
touch on that. Yeah, I've been so
But
busy. I ain't had to look at the schedule yet.
I think Pittsburgh's last. You're gonna have to let me look at them real quick because when I
Hmm.
tell you the
Go ahead.
schedule, you ain't gonna believe it. And it's the last, like the tail end of the schedule.
But the thing about it is, I don't want to bet against Tomlin when he has. I mean, he was able to win what 10 games last year with
Right.
pretty much no quarterback. if he gets anything out of Fields or anything out of Russell, whoever wins, they should at least be a wild card team. But that's the
So
thing. Who's going to be left out is always the question. Baltimore, I
here,
penciled in. So,
here's their games.
hmm
Here's their games from week 7 on.
hmm
You got the Jets, the Giants, bye week, Commanders, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philly,
Wow.
Baltimore, Kansas City,
Wow.
Cincinnati.
Okay. Yeah. Whew.
That is a gauntlet, boy.
That's a gauntlet. That's a
I think
gauntlet.
I them schedule makers said Tomlin ain't got no losing season. Watch this.
Watch this. Watch
Watch
me
this.
work.
He gonna have to earn it. Boy.
Man, golly, they're gonna have to earn it. You right. So
Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati. You don't play none of your division games to the end of the year, pretty basically.
so what's that telling me is that that division is playing the NFC East then. It seems like that's the divisions that are matching against each other
Yeah, they
because
are
you
playing the
mentioned,
NFC East.
yeah, they
They
mentioned
play
they're playing these. So that's going to be very interesting there, man. To think about it, it's going to come down to who's schedule. It's going to really come down to who has the favorable schedule,
right,
and they have a
right.
gauntlet. We'll break it down in another show because we can really pretty much start with that
Yeah.
division and see because you can
Oh yeah.
determine off that schedule. I don't do the paper thing with the NFL. When you look at the paper off season and he's like, well, he got to
Mhm.
play them, they're gonna lose. Anybody can win and lose in the league, but you looking at the schedules that pretty much can determine who's gonna win that division.
And
Wow,
I haven't
that's
even, I
interesting.
haven't even myself had an opportunity with the kids getting out of school and all that to even look at the
Yeah.
schedule. But I remember watching NFL Live, and Ryan
Uh
Clark was like, "Why did they get us? Why did they f us?"
huh.
I felt like I was
Man, um,
frozen up again.
it's all right. I wanted to touch on one thing that's not with that division, but I got to touch on it. And it's not because he played a season at FSU, but Keon Coleman's the
I, lo-
marketing, he gets the
I
right
love that
marketing,
look.
man. He's gonna be a
I love that
freaking
guy.
star. All he has to do is just be
Produce.
decent, produce on the field, decent, be decent on the field, and he'll make money off of his endorsements. You basically just keep a what is it? Follow that narrow path, keep a straight head,
Hmm.
and do
Tunnel
everything
vision,
because tunnel vision. Focus on the make the main thing, man.
man. Keep it that.
I yep, I haven't seen any other rookies, but I have seen in the circles in the FSU circles, man, they really want to see him and Jameis do a commercial or interview together. Man, the level of comedy we'd get.
Yeah.
Did you see? I need to get the video, but did you see him at Popeyes? They did a
No.
video of him. Yeah, he worked behind the counter at Popeyes. Man, it was hilarious. And then
No.
they did.
I I
Go ahead.
I know the bubble jacket he bought. Whatever company it was sent him
Uh,
like 100 of them or something like that. They said,
yeah, he
or sent.
met
I don't know if
Andre.
it was 100,
I don't
but
know how much it was, but I do know about that. Did you see him with Andre Reed? He met the Hall of Famer Andre Reed, receivers for
uh-uh.
Bills. Yeah, that was cool. Reed gave him an honorary what they call it. It was a necklace, but it was a buffalo wing at the end of the
Mm.
necklace of the chain, and it wasn't a golden buffalo wing. It wasn't jeweled out. It was a straight mild
Like a
colored
real.
looking buffalo wing. It looked like I don't know if it was real, but I'm pretty sure
Uh,
it wasn't. But yeah, man, it was pretty cool, man. But he was just one that he has charisma,
mm,
and the thing about it is a lot of times you question like what's going on here. You know, you thinking that what's going is he really thinking this through? And it's like, no, man, this is genius. He know what he's doing, and he just grab people you gravitating, and he's already
gravitate
got
to
the
him.
yeah. And you already I've seen video of him working with Allen already, and he looks real crisp right now. But it is OTAs.
Yeah, he's got an infectious personality.
Yeah, his personality is live, and he just being himself. That's what's so funny. Um, but going back to this complete rosters thing, I'm really interested in seeing. Of course, we've touched on so much with Houston. Um, let's discuss the Bengals because they have them at 6, and we did. You touched on it. I don't see it, but I'm seeing where they're giving them credit, of course, for Higgins, Jamar Chase, Burrow, but they crediting Chase Brown and Zach Moss in the running in the backfield. Gasecki and Von Bell, Sheldon Rankins on defense, DJ Reader, Trey Henderson, stuff like that. Those players, they're giving them credit with and saying they have one of the better complete rosters in the league. Um, I don't know. I really don't. I think they have parts of their roster are better than some franchises. I think their receiving core is one of the better receiving cores in the league, top 5
Mhm.
easily with Chase and Higgins, if not top 3. Their backfield,
Right.
their backfield is just going to be a serviceable backfield. I don't think there's a name amongst that, but I know Chase Brown is kind of going to come on and replace Milton. They're probably going to do a running back by committee. Um, but you touched on it, man. I don't understand why it caught me off guard to have them that high, and I don't think they're a better roster than Houston.
I don't
Um,
even. I mean, before Joe Burrow got hurt,
hmm
C.J. Stroud went into went into Cincinnati
hmm
and beat that. Last year's roster was better than this year's roster, in my opinion. Now their
hmm
offensive line might be their offensive line. Like you might have different like certain positions that have gotten better. So like their offense should be better because their offensive line is better. Zach
Yeah.
Moss played well for the Colts when Jonathan Taylor was out. Was it the scheme or was it him? Because he's been in the league for a while, so and he's never
hmm
he hadn't produced like that. So we'll see how that goes. Plus he was
hmm
in a contract year. Most of the time, a player performs better in a contract year. T. Higgins is not showing up for camp. He's not signing
He's
that tender.
Yeah, he hasn't
Trey
signed it
Trey.
yet.
So right now, currently, what they got out there on the field, their receiving core is not even a top 5 receiving core right now because it's just Jamar Chase.
hmm
You don't have T. Higgins right now. So, and then when you look at their defense, you lost DJ Reader on your defensive line.
hmm
You did bring back you brought back Von Bell and you brought in I believe Geno Stone
hmm
at your safeties positions. But we'll see how your secondary really pairs up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think their defense is what it was 2 years ago or even the year that they went to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're that same level of
Of
defense.
defense.
And
Yeah.
to have a complete roster, you have to have it on both sides of the ball.
Okay. All right.
Like Phil, go ahead, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You was about to
I was
touch
just
on
gonna say
Philly.
like I was gonna say like Philly.
hmm
Philly has depth everywhere.
Yeah.
They have depth everywhere. And then if you line them up roster by roster, they're player for player better than majority of the rosters in the NFL.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So like
Yeah, they're one of the deepest teams in
Dallas
the
has
league.
Dallas had been like that. Dallas had been
Yeah.
like that. When you just line them up, roster to roster, they have the better players. But I don't think Dallas, I think they're top 10, maybe 11
hmm
when it comes to roster. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Because with that logic, CD Lamb's not on the field right now, neither is Micah.
Yeah.
And then you don't know you don't know the Dak situation. Your offensive line is worse than it's been.
Yeah.
You're bringing in a new defense, and the players that you have fit your old scheme.
Exactly.
See, I don't think people talk about that a lot. Like, it ain't Madden where you just hire a new coach. Like, there's a whole new scheme. So now is Micah just going to be a rush in?
hmm
Is he going to be an outside linebacker? You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good question. How is he going to be utilized?
How's it
How's
going to
that
be
roster?
used? Right,
Yeah.
right.
Then you got the question of okay, so Gilmore's gone, so it's obviously you're gonna have Diggs and Bland
Coming
playing.
off an injury.
Yeah, coming off an injury though. But that also speaks to what you said about Dallas's talent, where they're right. You lose a player like Diggs, and Bland has a Pro Bowl season, an All Pro type season.
And
Where
I
he
see,
pretty much sets a record.
and the question is with that, and I'm not knocking Bland by any
Yeah.
means, but I guess I shouldn't say but because I kind of cancel out what I said before.
Yeah.
So
You
no
knocking it. Let's
disrespect.
say it.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
just say
Well,
it. Just
but
own
I'm
it.
not trying to.
No,
But I'm not.
no, you're
I'm
not
legit
trying
not
to,
trying
but you're
to.
just
But
speaking your
okay,
opinion.
I'll
Yeah.
say a knock on that is this: the year before in Dan Quinn's system,
Mm-hmm.
how well did Diggs play when it came to interceptions? If I'm not mistaken, when Dan Quinn was with the Seahawks, look how well Brian Maxwell played.
Uh-huh.
And then when he went to another team, look what he looked like. So is that Bland?
Or it's
Is
the
Bland that
system.
type of player, or was he
Uh-huh.
that type of player for that specific system?
Yeah.
Sherm was a good player in that system.
Yep. Yep.
You
You
see
speaking
what I'm
to
saying?
it. Yeah, I
So it's
see it.
not a knock. It's not a knock because he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But is it scheme or is it the player? It's kind of like when we talk about the quarterback. And
Yeah.
I think in my opinion, I think every position has that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every position has that. Is he this or is he that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the levels to like elite, elite or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
elite in that scheme like Brock Purdy is, but Brock Purdy's still a game manager. Is he still just a zone corner? Because we've also seen Diggs and Bland get torched.
Yeah. They've been burnt bad. You're right.
So Diggs had
And
all them interceptions, but that same year he gave up the most yards.
you
So
know
a lot of
what?
people like us. He's a gambler. He's a gambler, but the system he was in allowed him to gamble. He's not. And Shannon Sharp used to say it all the time. All the other wide receivers like that I watch on TV. If you hit him with a double move, he gonna bite on that first move
Mm-hmm.
because he jumped. What were they doing to Stephon Gilmore in the
Yeah.
Packers?
Running. They were running.
Running him
Yep.
across, letting him jump, and just peeling back out
Yeah.
post corner.
All day. It was killing him.
So
Uh but you know what? That's something we can discuss at a later show too, because you got the teams that's in transition, like Philly. Philly's breaking in a
mhm,
new defensive system. So how many of those guys are going to actually fit that new system? You got
right,
questions all over the place. Their roster looks great on paper,
mhm,
but it is in the league and the NFL, it's about fit. So you're right. How many of these guys, for example, going back to Dallas, how much of it is scheme and how much of it is athletic talent and gifts, and
right.
is it being maximized in that system? Um, it was something I wanted to touch on, man. It just slipped my mind. Oh, did you see your kicker for the Chiefs make the news with everything he
Oh
said? Keeping women,
yeah,
it basically was like keeping women in the kitchen, but I get it. And I was watching the show earlier, and I give credit to Big Game. 3-6 is said it, and he made a great point. You got to consider who he was speaking to. The audience was at a Catholic school, a Catholic university, so of course he gonna touch base
on the
with
more on their values.
on their values
Yeah,
exactly. And he spoke to a lot of their values. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything he said though.
yeah,
I'm like you kind of speaking from some old stuff, and then when certain things you say, especially when people get to talking about the way things were, the way things were in the past, I'm like, well, everything in the past wasn't good for everybody else. You know what I'm
right.
saying? What are we doing here, man? But he made the news, man, and it really just it caught me off a little bit, but it was expected. But the fact is, him it coming from him, like, bro, you the kicker. Well, you the kicker, man.
Right, right.
I mean, you make good money. You in the league. You
Yeah,
one of the best
but you ain't
kickers in the
allowed.
league.
You ain't.
Yeah,
But you ain't. Pat. You ain't Pat McAfee.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You.
Pat done made them all get big balls.
Oh man, the kickers is talking trash now, man. Anything else you want to touch on? Because I want to get to this subject. I do have a video, a short
No, go
that
ahead.
I want to show. But
Go ahead, run it.
I'm gonna run it. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. I'm gonna do it from the share screen. Give me one moment. Hold. And from this here, this is, let me stop it right quick. I wanted to stop it real quick because I wanted to make sure. But we're gonna get into a little bit of this NBA versus NFL debate that happened over the last week or so. and how it got NFL players in the uproar, and it kind of put on social media and in the sports realm a little bit of the debate. Now, me myself, my opinion is there are NBA players that can play because a lot of them played high school ball, so some of them probably could play in the NFL. But for I guess he the way let's get to the point of who said it first. Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers, and then he has the nerve to call a certain, I don't know which NFL player he was talking about, but called an
James
NFL player.
Jones.
Jay, that's who he called irrelevant.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch James
Yeah,
Jones. Because James
he
Jones went at him.
I gotta find that video then.
Yeah,
He called him, so that's who he called irrelevant. Come on, man. Come on, Austin. How many teams you done been on, bro? And I don't even think you 30 yet. I don't think he broke
he
30
ain't in
yet.
the league now.
No, and I don't even think
He
he's
ain't in
30
now.
yet. Oh, he's
So
yeah, because he was in the same class, I believe, with AD coming out of high
James Jones,
school.
James Jones,
No,
a Super Bowl champion. He done led the
yeah,
league in touchdowns. So
yeah. This man here, Mr. Austin Rivers, you more known for your dad and having temper tantrums and fits on the court than your play, man. I mean, this guy was the number two high school player coming out of high school. Never lived up to it. Went to Duke.
mhm.
He turned out to be a average player, which he made the league. He has, you make the league. He changed the fortune, but he came from a
Yeah, I'm gonna
good
say his daddy
background.
was
Come
already
on,
in there.
so it wasn't like he had to do it for the family or nothing like that.
Yeah,
So everything was already paved. He still had to go get it, but when it comes to comparison, there is no comparison. How you gonna call that man irrelevant? You're a journeyman before the age of 30. Let's put that
you
in
got
perspective.
you gotta watch how James Jones talked about it.
You
He
know what?
said like this. He told him
And I
like
will
this.
find it.
You
Go
ain't
ahead.
you ain't in neither league. He told him you ain't in neither league right now. So who you speaking for? They went
But
at it. They went at him today.
they
They went
did.
at him today.
I'm gonna find that
Uh,
video, man.
RG3 did,
Okay, so I'll
and it was
find it.
the black lady. I think her name Kimberly.
Uh,
She was like, she was like, so you can do. He said, oh no, I didn't say me. I didn't say me. I said 30 guys. But go ahead, man, run it, run it.
I'm gonna run this. It's a short, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna let it play.
I can't hear it. I'm just reading it because I can't see it. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. Okay.
Mm-mm. Bow, Sean T.
Yep.
Wacko.
And
Man,
I'll end with and say this: I've never seen a basketball player get CTE, reported CTE. I've never seen any of the injuries. Now there are basketball injuries. Of course, your knees wear out over
yeah.
time, your back, your shoulders. There's wear and tear. It is a physical game. But to sit here and say the way he said it, there aren't 30 players that couldn't play. You could take 30 players. You couldn't put them in the NBA, 30 NFL players. I'm like, I just saw the All Star game. Remember seeing Michael Parsons at 6'4" do some
Puka
things.
Nakua,
Yeah, Puka
CJ
Nakua.
Stroud.
CJ Stroud. And that's just that All Star game. But we can go and name players. Deion Sanders was an all state basketball player coming out of high school. All around athlete. We all know this. Michael Irvin. I remember seeing him in the dunk contest.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic, not just dunk, but can shoot. And it's not just them, but I'm just on Randy Moss, We could throw out players now.
T.O.
T.O. We just mentioned Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman could have got a
Keon Coleman.
basketball scholarship. He was
He
on the
played both in
Michigan
Michigan
State.
State.
Yeah,
I
he
say,
played
yeah.
Michigan State. Played basketball.
See, I think.
Legit 6'3", 6'4" guard.
See, I think this is what I think. I don't. Just a couple. Keep getting tongue tied, bro, because it's aggravating. Not just because it was said, but because who said it. And then like
Yeah,
the explanation behind it was if you give 30 guys from the NBA a year to train their bodies to be no, that's not what you said. You said you could take exactly, you talking about Draymond Green. He said you talking about you could take 30 basketball players right now and put them on the NFL. And he said because they can catch, they can go get the ball. It's okay to catch. You can jump real high. In football, it's a collision sport. Basketball is minimal contact in basketball. It's a flopping rule in basketball. They do low
Exactly.
management in basketball.
Yep.
Basketball is something that this is how easy. I'm not gonna say easy, but this is how less taxing basketball is on the body. They play on a Monday. They play again on Wednesday.
Yep.
Football, they play on Thursday. They don't play again until the next Sunday. They play on Sunday. They don't play again until the next Sunday because you need that full week to heal your body and recover. Football is a collision sport, and you're talking about his thing. Well, he said he's 6'5", 220. It doesn't. Ryan Clark went in on him too a little bit. When Ryan Clark and them played. Troy Polamalu, Brian Dawkins, Sean Taylor, Donovan Darius. Bro, you're not playing.
Yeah.
I don't care. LeBron, soon as you go up, they're not trying to see in basketball, you try to test your vert. When they go up, you try to jump with them. You don't do that in football.
No.
They're gonna just Randy, you know why Randy Moss was so successful at it? Because Randy Moss was a 4.2 40. Not only was he tall and could jump and out jump you, he was a long strider and could hit top speed quick. Them basketball players ain't trained like that.
No.
Them basketball players ain't trained like that. And then you got now, you might be 6'5", 220, but Sauce Gardner is 6'3". The Colts got a corner that's 6'3". The Patriots just drafted a corner who's 6'3". So it's not like you're going up against 5'10", 5'9" corners anymore either now.
Well, I'm gonna show this video because this is the quote unquote baddest, the toughest, considered one of the toughest, if not the toughest guy in the league, right? This is
Right.
Draymond playing football, Division One. He didn't have no scholarship, I believe. But let's just take a look. Let's see if we can get a little seg here. 36 seconds.
Offside.
That's your all NBA power forward, 3-time champion, bad boy, constantly suspended. Just that's and I'm not doing that to troll, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's there's no argument here. I'm not saying that an NFL player can go and consistently make NBA jump shots. That's not what I'm saying. But we're simply, like you said, talking about the absolute physicality of the game. There is no comparison. They're not banging like they did in the 90s. There is no Shaq in the paint anymore.
Nope.
You know, that's the closest
All
and
their
most
big,
physical
all their
play.
big
Yeah,
men shoot threes. All their big men shoot threes now.
exactly.
Y'all not
It's
even.
not. Go ahead.
Joel
Go ahead.
Embiid, what 300 pounds, and he always outside the paint. But
Yep.
here's another thing that I don't think like the dude Austin Rivers. I don't think he like thought about when he said it. If you're gonna say you can give basketball players a year to train, you don't get better at football. I mean, yeah, you can't get better at football, and there's a thing called football shape. You don't get used to getting hit. So if you're going to say 30 guys because they're taller can go and be a wide receiver or a tight end, first of all, you got to get off. First of all, you got to know the route. You got to be able to sink your hips and break. You got to be able to, you got to have hand-eye coordination, but you got to be able to beat man coverage. You got to know when and where to sit down in zone. It's a lot more tedious things to the position, number one. But if you're going to say 30 players can do that, 30 players from the NBA, 30 players from the NFL can go give you 5 minutes and give up 6 fouls. They can go in there and get you rebounds. You tell me a player like Myles Garrett who hoops can't.
He can hoop too.
Devontae Adams. Every time they say something about the NFL, like every time he has said something, he talked about Ant Edwards. Ant Edwards' mentality is to run through people who are trying to get out of his way. Okay, have him run head up with Derrick Henry. Have him run
Nasty.
Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, AJ Dillon.
He not gonna do it.
Yeah, they talk about like he said something like the last guy on the roster was like an all
Hmm.
state. He was an all state that. What you think it's like in football? You think people just get there?
But I got this video I wanted to bring up. It's James Jones, what you told me about. So I'm gonna
Okay,
be seeing it for the first time because I didn't. I did see some videos from others, but I'm gonna let this play. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm gonna let it roll.
it's probably in your headphones. That's why, but it's all
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Oh, I ain't seen this one.
Yeah.
No, I ain't seen this one. Dang, I wish I could hear. I'm gonna pull it up now. I'm gonna pull it up on my end. I guess people watching it ain't gonna be able to hear it neither.
Yeah, he about to start cooking him. This is wild, man. Now you got three NFL players sitting up here on this desk too.
And Joy's brother is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. That's Jason
Yeah.
Taylor's little sister.
Okay. Oh, that's Joy Taylor. Okay, I recognize now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-oh, he told me to say it in his Kendrick Lamar voice. Ooh.
Dang, bro, I wish I could hear it. I can't
Wow.
hear it. I'm
Man, I
mine is
gotta figure out
behind.
okay, I gotta figure out how to let it rock. All right. They just said went from meat to grams. But I'm gonna let it, man. He said that man career
I'm
numbers is
listening to
9
it now.
points. Yeah,
Yeah.
65% free throw percentage. And you a guard. Guards ain't supposed to shoot that bad. 11, I told you 11 years.
Oh no,
Now
I did
11
see that.
years. Okay, 11 years,
I did.
seven teams. Seven teams in 11 years. That sums it up right there. Who are you? Who are you to make
But,
the statement that you made?
but it is, and then the thing is, he was like, I don't know why everyone's getting so riled up about it because it is disrespectful to the people who put their body through that for you to make it seem like it's easy to do it because you're tall.
Yeah.
Julius Pepper, and then the people he brought up, Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, and
Hmm.
Jimmy Graham.
Hmm.
He said they never played football before. Yes, they did.
That's a lie.
Yes, they
Only
did.
one only one of them was primarily a basketball player, and that was Antonio Gates, who had to
Gates. That
learn
was
how.
Gates, but they
But
both played. Yeah,
yeah, Gonzalez and Peppers, basketball was the second sport. They weren't at scholarship at their
I
universities
know
for
it. I
that.
know it.
They're for football.
But he was like, He's like the only person that they can say that did anything in football and then became a basketball player was Charlie Ward. Bro, no basketball player wants to play football. Allen Iverson, because his body makeup was more
Hmm.
football than it was basketball.
Hmm.
He just was somebody who was crazy athletic. So and that's the thing.
Hmm.
Like he got to think. He said he was making things like comments like because we're bigger or we're taller. Nate Robinson
Hmm.
made it to that. Bugsy Bowe made it. So I mean that doesn't matter if you're gonna look at like every outlier. Look how soft, and I don't even want to say soft. I don't even want to say soft, but AD's bones are made out of like baby milk, baby teeth, or something like that. Like that
Yeah.
nigga stays hurt, bro. Like,
Yeah.
bro, he got hurt this year, barely getting bumped in the back.
I'm gonna
You
touch on
barely
that
got
too.
bumped in the back, and that's the thing. If you think they're gonna be, oh, we're big, we can be a defensive end. A player like Trent Williams, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
A guard like Quentin Nelson, you're going nowhere. You
Now
see
I'm
what
a,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
bro.
I'm laughing because you touched on some things. First, I'm gonna hit with the AD. AD's anatomy, in my opinion, is not built to carry the weight he's carrying. You gotta understand, AD's junior year, he was 6'2". He
That nigga don't
shot
even
up
look like
over
he
no,
weigh a lot. He look like he all
no,
shoulders and braids and
bro.
eyebrow.
He shot up to 6'10" within a year span. He had a huge
Mm,
growth spurt, and he was like 6'10", maybe 200, 215. He packed that weight on in between the transition from New Orleans to LA. So he's
mm,
actually his I don't think his frame is really built to carry that kind of weight at 250 at his
mm.
size. So that kind of, to me, I think that's what explains why he's always injured, because he should be more of a Kevin Durant instead of
That,
trying to play him as a true five.
that
And then
nigga's bones is made out of baby slobber.
yeah, you threw out two other names. One, you threw out Allen Iverson. Two, you threw out
Mm-hmm.
Nate Robinson. I'm gonna touch on Allen Iverson. We all know his story. Bubba Chuck played high school ball. He could have went Division 1 as a football player.
Yep.
And that also adds to the reason why the way he played the game in the NBA was like a football player.
His
You
attitude.
often wonder, yeah, you often wonder how a guy that small could get to the basket, play that and physical, because
Fearless and fearless.
he was used to it. Football developed him to be that
Yep.
kind of player. Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is an enigma, and a lot of people don't give him credit because you know where he went to school, Washington. He was a scholarship, stopped playing football to play
Mm-hmm.
basketball at 5'9" because he looked at it as, I guess, a little bit of a better opportunity to go
However
that
it looked
route.
out, it worked out for him.
Yeah, it worked out for him. But I
Yeah.
remember him at Washington. He played probably a season, and then he transitioned to play
Because
basketball, and the rest was
he
here.
didn't play a lot.
No, he didn't play a lot, but
Yeah.
of the film that I saw in the video, the highlights, he was talented. He was good. He
Yeah,
was a
he was
little
good.
five
Yeah, he was
nine
decent.
jitterbug. He was a good football player,
Mm-hmm.
fast. But what I was saying is, but look at his style in the NBA. Their play in the NBA was developed by playing football, not by
Football.
playing basketball. And that, I mean, and you could say they're anomalies. Yeah, you could say that, but it just proves the point that there are a lot more football players playing basketball than you think.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't. I mean, if we dig, you have to dig. You have to dig
That's
and
that's
that
because
background.
when they talk about football players, they think all of them look like Shannon Sharp.
Exactly.
All of them like the Black Superman and stuff like that. All of them ain't
No.
built like that. All of them ain't built like that. Allen Iverson was a stringy guy, but see,
Yeah.
for a football player, what was Allen Iverson? 6'1",
6 foot.
6'1", six
If
two,
that,
or
maybe
6 foot.
5'11". Yeah, he was
But
5'11",
that's
6 foot.
that's decent size at on the football field. You see what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So you and Nate, we already know how small he is. So he went into a giant man game
And still was
anomaly,
successful. Yeah.
but because of his mentality. How many of the basketball players have that mentality? Look how banged up Embiid gets on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Zion stays hurt, and they were talking. I think Zion was another one because they was like Zion is uh I don't know almost 300 pounds, 280 or
Yeah.
whatever, however big he is, and this and that. Yeah, but the thing is, see, in football, somebody lines up across from you, and you got to get through them while they try to get through you.
Yep.
Basketball is not like that.
No.
Basketball, you go around, you go over,
Yeah.
you flop as soon as you get touched. Like, and I'm not, but bro, all that flopping stuff is why I don't like basketball. I don't like
Gotcha.
basketball, and like
Mhm.
even growing up, my homeboys like, I would play, you know what I'm saying? But like if we went to the to the wire, whatever, they didn't have enough
Mhm.
guys.
Mhm.
I'll run. Hey man, you
Yeah.
foul. You play like a football player. You play like a football player. But I don't like basketball because basketball they be ready to fight on a regular basis when someone just like when they do what
Touch.
they supposed
Yeah.
to do defensively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I like football. If you
Mhm.
bump your gums, line back up, either I'm getting you or you getting me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Man.
like that dude there is, and then
Yeah.
he thin as hell, and then like you trying to bump. What do you have? That just shows you how bad you were if you were a lottery pick and ended up on 7 teams in 11 years.
Exactly. Exactly what Jones said. You
Right.
qualify as a bus guy. You are a lottery pick, and you've been on 7 teams. I don't want to
Yeah.
ever hear anyone say anything about Kwame Brown ever again, because
Never.
you fall in the category that's worse. I'm like,
Like
bro, you
if
just came out in 2012, I believe. That's 11 years, ain't it? Darn near. During there, yeah,
mhm,
11 years,
yeah,
2012. He came out. That's Anthony Davis class. I think he was like the second or third pick. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but that just
crazy.
shows you how did you really get there? Not saying
Yep.
that you weren't a good, not saying that you weren't a good high school player or anything like that. And like LeBron's son, I saw people were bashing him for coming out. Then after the combine, they was bashing him because of his height and all that. Then he
Mhm.
played, and they was like, "Oh, now he might be a first round pick," because I guess there's only 2 rounds of basketball or whatever. But I mean,
Mhm.
bro, like, dude, you talking all that stuff? You kind of got there. It should have been destined for you to get there.
Yeah.
With you growing up around it, you already being of a certain height, you're getting free tutelage from former NBA players. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like let's be real. And in NBA now it's so like they were talking. I think Kendrick Perkins and Shannon Sharp was arguing, not necessarily arguing, but
Mhm.
debating about it or
Debating.
whatever.
Mhm.
And Shannon was like, football now,
Uh-huh.
football and how it's played now is equivalent to the bad boy piston era in
Mhm.
basketball. And
Mhm.
football now is way softer now than it was when Shannon Sharp played.
Yeah.
So he's saying that y'all can't take the bad boy Pistons were bullies. Every single Sunday, every Monday, every Thursday, you line up, or against with the Chiefs every day except Tuesday. You
Mhm.
line up against the bad boy Pistons.
Hmm.
Think about it now. Think about it now. And if you want to do a no holds bar football game, like old school football game,
Mhm.
man, crazy,
Well,
crazy.
I'll leave with this, and I'm gonna close out on this with the Austin Rivers situation. He was drafted in 2012. He was the 10th pick overall in the first round. New Orleans Hornets or Pelicans. Okay.
Mm.
You know how long he lasted with the team that drafted him? 2012 to 2015. You were gone. They dumped you after your first contract. They traded you. You went to the Clippers. I guess to play under his dad. He lasted there 2 years or 3 years. They traded the Wizards. So yeah, they
And
traded
you
him to the
played with your
Wizards.
dad when your dad was the
Yeah.
coach.
Yep. Then he went from the Wizards in 2018 to Houston in 2018. 2020 he was out. The Knicks for better of a year. The Nuggets for a year and Minnesota last year. Out the
And
league.
no championships, no nothing,
No
no
nothing.
accolades.
Nope. All
All
his
right,
success comes from high school
and you bumping
as
your
far as
gums.
basketball. Hmm.
You're bumping your gums to a Super Bowl winner, to a Super Bowl champion in James
Hmm.
Jones, a player who's led the league. Like, come on, bro.
But
James Jones was a vital part of the Packers
hmm.
receiving core with Jordy Nelson,
Hmm.
Greg Jennings. and
Uh-huh.
Donald Driver. I believe Donald Driver was gone when James Jones got there,
Wasn't
but I
Cobb on that
believe
team still?
Randall Cobb,
Yeah, Randall Cobb
Randall
was on
Cobb,
that team. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It
man,
just
bro.
it's just reckless talk.
I can see if he
But
said that about Acho. I can
yeah,
see if he said that about Acho.
yeah.
I don't. I know this ain't got nothing to do with anything. You said you was getting ready to close.
Yeah.
Acho, the only nigga on TV, bro, that was a practice squad player.
I'm like, you right, man. You
This nigga
got
had to
two
be at little
guys.
shitty parties.
Oh wow, man! I ain't even going there. I ain't touching it. That's enough heat
I
right there
no,
in
I'm talking
itself,
about he
man.
must have been in there recording. He got something on somebody, man.
He got some dirt on
He's the
somebody.
only practice squad player. The only
No,
practice squad player. This nigga has barely been on an active roster. His
but
brother, his
he's
brother was a starter with the Cardinals, and
uh-huh.
his brother on ESPN. This dude has his own show, and he was a practice squad player.
Well, he's a safe guy. He's a safe guy, man. You know
I
how
know
that
them
mean. You
comfortable
know,
conversations with
yeah,
police.
yeah. You can have company. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
guy. You know,
yeah.
he's swell. He's that
Then he
kind of guy.
kissed a
He's
lot of
my
cheeks,
kind of
bro.
guy. Yeah,
He
he's
kissed
my
a lot
kind
of
of
cheeks.
guy.
I don't
But
even. I
yeah.
can't. I don't even watch that show no more because of him, bro. Like that sucker there, man. Like
I
he
don't even,
out. I'm about to rant. About to rant about him.
man, go ahead
About
and
to rant
cook.
about him, bro.
But I never watched the show like that. But just interactions and seeing him on Twitter, I already know. And then
Mm.
little things I heard, it's like, yeah, I already know what he's about. I'm like, nah, man,
Bro, he
I know what he is.
like
It
he'll
is
get
what it
on
is.
there. He'll get on there, man. And just some of his takes, it's like, bro, none of that. Like he'll talk about Baker Mayfield, right? And he'll be like, Baker Mayfield, he should get credit because he came into a team that was Cleveland, and how terrible was Cleveland, and this and that. But then he talked about because Cleveland was a terrible organization, Baker Mayfield should be cut some slack. But he'll talk about like Jared Goff when Jared Goff got paid. Well, he shouldn't get paid. Why not? Detroit was a sorry team. Detroit has
Yeah,
always been a sorry team.
yeah,
He's done more with Detroit than Baker did with the Browns. But I mean, like every time he talks about something, like bro, he tries to like twist and turn things, and like the logic that he'll use to support one thing, he'll use that
hmm
same exact logic to go against another thing. Like he
well,
he plays the fence. He plays the fence a lot.
yeah, he does. But
That
I
trying to
think
be aggravating.
some of that stuff, it's coerced in the back and
Yeah, and
from
that's what it
from the
feels like with
higher
him.
ups. It feels like the
Yeah.
suits are telling them this is the narrative you need to push. But it is funny
Mm-hmm.
seeing him sit between two all pros or pro bowlers, you
Two
know,
Super Bowl champions.
two Super Bowl champions, and one of them could be a possible fringe Hall of Famer. So,
Yeah,
with Shady. But and I got things to say about Shady that I don't necessarily agree with either. But if we just
oh yeah,
talking
I don't
about
agree with it. Yeah,
yeah, but when you just talking about the three on the panel, those three guys, it's like it is the odd man out kind of when you watch it.
yeah.
He's like, man, come on. But
He used
success
to
is
be on that
success.
show with Marcellus Wiley.
I know. I know.
He somehow got Marcellus Wiley sent to YouTube, bro. Like, golly, boy.
Because it's a nasty business, man.
Yeah,
It's a nasty business, and it's just some things we all got to learn to navigate different waters. And he's one
yeah.
of them that works. He works that water well,
I guess he a
and his
survivor.
yep, Jason Whitlock, uh, basically,
Pretty
nasty
much.
individual on the low, personally. But man, you got anything else to touch on before we close out? Did about an
Nah,
hour,
bro.
man.
Nah, bro. That was good, man.
It was good, man. Well, we like to thank everybody for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Please
Yeah,
touch in
Forrest.
and follow D's Corner. That's Mondays, right? You touch on Mondays, and what's your
I just push them out. I push them out.
okay?
I haven't pushed anything out last week or this week because with
Okay,
kids award ceremonies and all that, but I have the remainder of my off-season grades for the NFC that be
okay.
coming out. I might record tonight.
I'm trying to work some channels, and we trying to still working channels, and patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
So staying in that place where we're at and just keep working. But I would tell anyone watching the show, hey, the thumb is free, subscription is
That's it,
free.
man.
Just hit the
Do us
thumb.
that.
Give our algorithm a little boost. We really appreciate everyone. We like to thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. And
Thank
we
you.
say
Thank you.
peace to you. Peace out.